I'm Daniel. Welcome to an open world Pokemon game concept. It's quite a topic to talk about, and I'm excited to present the following to you in this video. An elegant way the Pokemon franchise could work as an open world game. I know this is a topic of interest for many, and I encourage you to share why you would like or dislike an open world Pokemon game, its mission or focus, and a feature that would allow multiple players to connect. What's the incentive to play together? This video is organized the following way. You may want to watch the entire video or jump to key parts you find the most interesting. The map can be used to explain most of why Pokemon would work so well as an open world game, without many changes. I have based this concept around the idea of a Pokemon region with a similar looking map to the one of Hyrule in The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. I can see a lot of the same features happening in a Pokemon game, and as a lot of you are familiar with these, I think it's a good way to do things. The map would have a hometown in the middle. You can see the Pokemon League far north. You can find gym symbols across the map, and potential locations for towns and cities. The biggest and probably best and most exciting change would be that the hometown is located in the middle of this map, and after receiving your starter Pokemon, you would be free to go wherever you want, in any direction, at any point in time. The reasons why this would work and be a good game are the following. 1. The areas around the hometown would have low-level Pokemon. The farther you travel in the region, the more likely it is for you to find an area with high-level trainers and Pokemon. 2. NPCs in the game would give you hints and useful information about the region. I could see them having a couple different statements each, where they talk about where you can find a specific type of Pokemon, where difficult trainers are located, and areas that are recommended for skilled trainers only. 3. The gyms in this region would adapt the way gyms work in the anime. Based on how many gym badges you have, the gym leader would pick Pokemon accordingly. As an example, if you have 3 gym badges, the leader will choose different Pokemon than if you have 7. I'd like to take some time here to explain how wild encounters would work. I'm unsure how the visuals of this would look like, but let's pretend they are similar to how they work in the current Pokemon games. A change that I think would make the game more difficult and exciting would be to make your journey less safe by increasing the level range of Pokemon in the areas. This means that instead of the difference between the lowest and highest level Pokemon in an area to be about 5 levels, I'd like to see a difference to be more than 30 levels. The chance of encountering a Pokemon in a specific level would be visualized this way. The higher level, the less likely it would be for you to find a Pokemon in that level. This way, you always need to watch out and be prepared. Maybe you could even go out and catch one of these rare high-level Pokemon. That leads us to another important feature to mention, which is that a Pokemon caught in the wild would not end up not obeying based on its level. Instead, it will work off of a combination of your trainer level, which we will come to later, but more importantly, the care you have given your Pokemon. I can see healing your Pokemon, letting it follow you, and also treating it well in a Pokemon and Me-like feature to work well in bonding with your Pokemon. So you got your starter Pokemon? Check. Got some Pokédollars from your mom? Check. Ready to go out on your very own Pokemon journey? Yes, please. The exciting and interesting concept with this video is the way the region would work when you don't have limitations in where and when you can go explore. The main part of this game would be exactly that. To explore the Pokemon region, catch Pokemon, trade and battle, and become the champion. Sounds familiar? This concept would allow you to make the game as hard or as easy as you'd like. You could talk to NPCs and figure out what areas have high-level Pokemon and learn about more safe areas, or by testing and learning, exploring and enjoying Pokemon. It's worth highlighting the fact that players with a lot of knowledge would be superior in a game like this. Do you know a lot about Pokemon's typings? Like what types are super effective and not so effective, etc.? If not, you'd be encouraged to learn about just that, as it would benefit the way you could choose to explore and play the game. This would not be limited to knowledge of typings only. An example in this case, however, can be to use what you know about the way immunities work to catch a high-level Pokemon even early in the game, by simply knowing that your normal type Pidgey can't get hit by a Haunter because the Haunter may only have Ghost-type moves, and you have Gust. Would it be easy? No, not at all, by no means. But it would be a challenge and a game worth playing. I bet you'd felt accomplished if you went out from the hometown with your Charmander and Pidgey at level 8 and 4 and you caught a Haunter at level 25, like this. What this all means is that with this open world Pokemon game concept, you could go wherever, whenever, and have a truly unique Pokemon journey. I actually think Pokemon Journey would be a fitting name. You may remember the word storytelling listed in the beginning of this video as one of the key parts of this concept. Oh, praise Ho-Oh, the effects of storytelling would do wonders. It would, in combination with what I'll talk about in the online part, demolish cheating in Pokemon and much more. At the core of this game, it would be for you to make your own story, have your own unique journey, and do things in the game that is worth talking to your friends about. Did you climb on top of that mountain and succeed in catching a Charizard? Did you go deep in that cave and encounter a Garchomp? The Pokemon you catch would have their own story, how you got them, what they meant for your team, and how strong they are. This would all create so many possible ways to talk Pokemon, catch, train, and battle. What was the first thing you did when you left the hometown? How many Pokemon have you caught? In which order have you taken the gyms? What's your favorite spot to train your Pokemon? I hope you are following along with this, and if so, I'd be very happy to talk some Pokemon with you right now in the comments about your thoughts on a potential Pokemon game like this. Let's continue to the online part of this video. I'd like for there to be a dedicated online space in the Pokemon region. A place you could go to, and when entering, you come to a similar kind of place to the Union Rooms, where you can see other trainers running around. How trading would work is how it has always been. But battles? This is where the real difference would be. Your Pokemon in your party would never, ever change level. I'm hugely against that you can have your Pokemon just set to level 50, and so on. Are you too? To me, it does not make any sense, and I think it destroys some of the core values of Pokemon. Catch, train, and battle. Stick with me though, I have a way around this that's coming shortly. When you would run around in the online space, I'd like it to be to where your Pokemon is in the exact same level and shape as when you are anywhere else in the Pokemon game. You do need to go to the Pokemon Center or heal up your own Pokemon after a battle. Maybe there'll be a nurse nearby, but this would be a Pokemon battle. Your Pokemon would gain experience from battling other Pokemon trainers. Why would they not? The only thing I would have to say though, in this case, is that you would have to have a system that would allow the trainers to agree on how many items, like healing items, would be allowed to be used in a battle. Having said that, could you have a team with a couple level 100 useless Pokemon and have a friend with a Dratini in level 7 with Toxic? Sure. You would essentially, to some degree, only ruin the game for yourself. Or make it very fun? Question mark? I believe these kinds of freedoms to players makes the game so many times more fun to play. How one would do competitive battles on the other end would work this way. You could agree with a trainer you would like to challenge that the Pokemon would need to be at a specific level, and set your own rules, if you'd like to use your party when battling. I suggest that one would need there to be a dedicated area within the online space for a game corner, an in-game Pokemon battle simulator. You can build virtual Pokemon, similar to that of Pokemon Showdown, save your teams made, battle people, have an online ranking, enter competitions, and so on. I can see this looking like a computer you would interact with, and that the battlefield used for battling would look digital, like in Pokemon Sun and Moon, to make a distinction between simulated battles and battles outside the game corner. This would make Pokemon more fun for everyone. There is now some time left for a dedicated More section. Specific ideas and mechanics that would make the game more interesting in my opinion. This is definitely among the most interesting parts of this video. 1. I'd like a trainer level that would influence what items you can buy, how much money you'd get from trainers you battle, and potentially a combination between your trainer level and the amount of badges could somehow influence the difficulty of Pokemon trainers. 2. I'd like money to be an important part of the game. I'm a huge fan of having a realistic and fun economy in games. I'd like there to be houses, furniture, and souvenirs and cool things to buy across the region for you to bring back and decorate your house with. I'd like for up to 8 people to be able to be in your house all at once as an online feature too. You would be able to host a Pokemon party in there to show off your house and also trade, battle, and so on. 3. I think it would be really cool if one could have an online ranking of the strongest trainers in the online space for battles done with your Pokemon party. That is not in the game corner. 4. Shiny hunting would be interesting in this game, as the difference in level would be much higher. 5. Maybe one could host tournaments as a battle feature both inside your house, in the online space, and in the game corner. A battle feature so that you would real-time connect 8 players, as an example, to have a tournament there and then. Maybe you could use your own trainer money to enter. 6. I said in this video that you could go wherever, whenever, but actually, that's not completely right. If you don't have a water-type Pokemon that would be eligible to surf on, too bad you can't get to that one island in the middle of the lake. But maybe you have a flying type that would be eligible to fly you over. I think that a Remoraid should not be able to be surfed on or a Pidgey to be flown with. I'd like a realistic take on what Pokemon can do HM similar moves. Similarly, if you don't have a fishing rod, you will have a hard time getting certain water-type Pokemon, etc. 7. Breeding would be more rewarding because you can use the Pokemon in the online space. People who don't want to spend time on that can go to the game corner. 8. I'd like there to be a whole bunch of micro-stories across the region. Maybe not a full-on bad team like Team Rocket, etc., but maybe some small bullies that you can beat here and there. 9. This is a point I didn't mention in the video at all. Legendary Pokemon captures would be rewarding. I like the capture rates of Pokemon to be more difficult too. At the same time, I want the increased odds by picking the right Pokeball to be drastically different, and potentially decrease the odds when picking the wrong kind of Pokeball. So Quick Ball would be a lot more effective the first 4 turns. Dusk Ball would be more effective during nighttime, and so on. 10. Pokemon centers and schools would be important and give you vital information about the region. 11. This one is small, but I'd like items to be in small present boxes instead of inside Pokeballs. 12. I'd like the day and night cycle to be 4 times faster. I'd like there to be night every 3 hours, having 4 day and night cycles in total within a real-life 24-hour period. 13, and at last, I wanted to say that I hope you enjoyed this video and would like to talk some Pokemon in the comments. That was it for this video. If you like what you saw, you will likely find more Pokemon themed videos to enjoy here on the channel. I recommend having a look at the best videos playlist, or to listen to some music by Mesmonium. Thank you for watching this video.